Ladies and gentlemen, and my friend Timmy, today we're talking about a Mercedes. So strange, and so absolutely not looking like a Mercedes, it makes you question reality. It's the 1940 Mercedes-Benz 320 Wendler Sport Cabriolet, a car that looks more like a French artist's fever dream than something from Stuttgart. Timmy thought it was a Delahaye. Bob, my neighbor, with 5 tinfoil hats stacked on his head, was rustling like a baked potato and shaking his head as he swore it was an Alfa Romeo designed by aliens. And honestly, this time, I kind of believe Timmy. Now, before we dive under the hood, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button like Timmy hits the open bar at a wedding. It's free, unlike Timmy's tab at the last reunion. And while you're at it, ring the bell too, so you don't miss the next time we find a car that makes grown men weep and Bob yell, Illuminati! All right? Let's roll into the madness. In 1940, the original Mercedes Type 320 W142 rolls off the factory line. And no, it didn't immediately sprout Italian curves and ballerina accessories. Back then, it was just your standard 3.4-litre inline 6 with a solid 78 horsepower and a top speed of a little over 120 kilometers per hour, around 75 miles per hour. This particular unit, chassis number 440,704, started life in the very German hands of Munich's chief of police. You know, a man who clearly needed something subtle and not at all gangster. After World War II, the car found its way to Robert Koenig, not a rock star, but a theater director and sugar daddy of the arts, who decided that the plain Mercedes needed more flair. So he turned to Wendler Reutlingen, a coach builder that made custom aluminium bodies before aluminium was cool, or used to wrap Bob's sandwiches to block the 5G. Wendler said, "Sure, Bob, I mean Robert," and out came a radical transformation. Only 2 Wendler-bodied Mercedes 320s were ever made, one in pearl silver and the other in a turquoise shade so fresh even Timmy's cocktail umbrella turned green with envy. But wait, we're not done. In 1950, Koenig decided to go full Italian job. He handed the car to Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera. That's right, Touring Superleggera, a name that sounds like pasta but designs like Picasso on nitro. They gave the Merc an aerodynamic pontoon body, slapped on green leather seats, beige carpeting, and even added a mirror with altitude and temperature indicators. For the ballerina, because obviously ballerinas need altitude awareness when pirouetting down the Autobahn. Yes! Koenig gave the car to Lily Zeissner, his star ballerina and possibly the only woman to receive a Mercedes with weather instruments instead of jewelry. Timmy once gave his girlfriend a mixtape labeled Volume 2. There was no Volume 1. This sculptural one-off stayed in the Zeissner family until the 2000s, which is also about the time Bob stopped trusting microwaves. In 2003, it was bought in rough condition. We're talking found in a barn and maybe lived in by raccoons, rough, then restored at full throttle across Lithuania, Germany, and Italy. And by 2004, poof, it was back, baby, gleaming glorious and rolling into retro rallies like it never spent 5 decades covered in dust and questionable rodent smells. As for the price, well, when this Mercedes 320 was born, it was a respectable German tourer. But today, its value? Hard to say. It's one of 2 Wendler-bodied examples. Plus, it's got Italian design, ballet drama, and a European passport with more stamps than a travel blogger. Some restored 320s reach well over $300,000, 280,000 euros. But for a one-off like this, that's call the museum, not the dealer territory. And if you enjoy rare cars, wild stories, and Timmy trying to use a carburetor as a coffee grinder, subscribe to the channel. Also, consider becoming a channel sponsor for just $1. That's less than Bob spends on alien-proof tinfoil a month. Links in the description. We'll use the funds to buy Timmy a map so he finally stops getting lost in his own driveway.